Ever wonder what motivates people to get plastic surgery? Did they regret it? What can we learn from the story of plastic surgery patients? I'm Dr. Javad Sajan, and welcome to the Plastic Surgery Podcast. Hello, my friends. Welcome back, and thanks to all our listeners for the amazing feedback. We have had so much fun so far and look forward to more of your insights and suggestions. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so we can bring you more amazing content. On the Plastic Surgery Podcast, we'll listen to real stories of triumph and pain from real patients and providers to further understand the motivations of why do people risk their life under the knife. I'm Dr. Javad Sajan, and today my guest is the amazing Rosemary. Rosemary, how are you?
I'm doing okay today. It's been a fun day so far.
Yeah? What's been good about today?
Well, I got all gussied up. I got prettied up for the podcast and pictures, and I'm excited about it.
I'm so happy to have you, Rosemary. Now, Rosemary, I've had the privilege of helping you with some surgeries. We've done two big surgeries, but multiple components in it as part of your gender transition. Is that right?
Oh, definitely. And they were pretty big ones.
Yeah. So we first did a full facial feminization with breast augmentation at the same time. And that surgery involved a lot. I took the frontal bone, set it back closer to the brain. We did a nose job, also known as rhinoplasty, chin reduction, jaw reduction, mid-face lift. We lowered your hairline, tracheal shave, and lip lift. And just when you thought that wasn't enough, we did a breast aug at the same time.
Yep.
Right? And then your second case was a liposuction 360, where we lipoed with ultrasonic energy the front, the back, the sides. We then transferred that to your hips and buttock to give you a more feminine shape. Two big ordeals.
Yeah, that first one was a doozy. What was it? 15 hours of surgery, I believe.
It was a lot. It was an all-day case, and you stayed overnight at our facility. I remember that.
Yeah, but it was 100% worth it. Even that recovery, that several month long recovery, it was 100% worth it.
Why do you say it was worth it?
Because it's something that pretty much changed my life.
In what way?
So one of the big things is I rarely ever run into things like misgendering anymore. Back beforehand, I did have feminine features, but they were definitely substantially accented by the surgery, and I don't run into quite the same issues and concerns I did before.
That's awesome. So before, how often would you get misgendered, would you say?
Honestly, it was kind of a toss-up, maybe a 50-50 on whether it would be a misgendering or not.
And
People were guessing.
What is it now?
Oh, goodness. I think maybe I hear it once every 30, 40 times, if even.
That's awesome.
And usually that's just when I'm like tired and, dead to the world after work.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear my surgery had a good impact on you. It means a lot to me. Rosemary, where are you from?
I'm from Florida originally. I grew up there. I was born there. I grew up there. I went to school not even 10 minutes away from the place I was born.
Where in Florida?
East Central Florida, Space Coast.
Oh, okay, cool. And did you grow up with your mom and dad?
Yep.
Any siblings?
I have a brother and a sister, and they're both pretty awesome.
Yeah. What do they do now?
My sister works in government work, and my brother runs his own company.
Oh, cool. I'm not asking for the name, but what kind of company?
Aerospace.
Oh, is he local in Washington or still in Florida?
No, everybody's there still in Florida.
Is it a pretty big operation, his company?
Yeah, no, he took it from nothing and made it a big thing. I don't know much of all that he does at this point anymore. It's been quite a while.
Wow, that sounds exciting. And when you were growing up, you had both your mom and dad?
Yep, yeah.
When did you start feeling that your gender wasn't congruent with your identity?
Oh, goodness. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a hard one to pinpoint because it's not so much that you don't feel that your gender is incongruent. It's just that something feels wrong and you're different from others and you don't understand why.
When did those feelings start?
Oh, goodness. As long as I can remember.
You think it was in childhood?
Oh, it was 100% in childhood. It took probably until I was maybe 16 or 17 before I realized what they were.
Uh-huh.
But that feeling of just something being wrong was definitely into childhood.
So when you were 5 or 6, you had something like that?
Oh,
Feeling like
I had a wrong feeling. And it's like, the funniest thing I think of is the fact that my favorite cartoon as a child was Rainbow Bright.
No way.
And that was one of the things I got teased about a lot. So obviously, for a lot of trans kids, when you start enjoying something that you're not supposed to because of your gender, you get teased and things like that. So that was, I think, one of the first indications that something felt wrong with me and that I really wasn't the person I wanted to be, or at least society didn't see me as the person I wanted to be.
How old were you when you started liking that other cartoon, if you will?
Oh, goodness. 4 or 5.
Did you have any other attributes that you think weren't congruent with being assigned male at birth?
There were plenty of them.
Like, what about like clothes?
I want to say clothes, but one of them particularly, because my parents were pretty, as far as a lot of things like that, my parents were pretty open about how we dressed, how we acted. My sister was a tomboy like nothing else. And I ended up taking after my sister a lot. So even, it didn't really have anything to do with clothes, just because I imitated my sister. And that's probably why part of why things kind of didn't feel right. I did the things that she did because those were what felt right and felt nice.
Like, can you give me an example?
I think that one's a little bit harder to peg down because she was a tomboy. Not everything she did was necessarily explicitly masculine or feminine. And big things is that very much wasn't feminine. And I honestly don't think that I really started feeling feminine until probably after puberty. Like, before puberty, it's just something feeling wrong. After puberty, it starts becoming, oh, this is how I feel different from everybody else.
So around 16-ish, is that right?
Yeah.
And what was the first feeling you had that made you want to be more feminine?
Well, I actually think around that time I started hanging out with a lot more girls around my age. And, that's the time when hormones were supposed to be going crazy. But I wasn't like any of the other guys that were around me, and I didn't feel comfortable around them, the things that they did or the things that they talked about. I felt more comfortable on the feminine side of things I had a bunch of girlfriends, girls that are friends, not girlfriends.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have any guy friends.
Did other people notice at school that this was the case? Other kids?
By that time, honestly, they did notice, but they were just jealous, funny enough, because I wasn't like guys who would be going after the girls. I was just another one of the girls to them. And the guys didn't see it that way.
Did anybody pick on you?
I got picked on a lot, but that's my teenage years were a bit rough because I had to learn to fight back.
Why were you getting picked on?
Because I was different.
What would people pick on, like a topic?
God, even just the length of my hair was one of them. But as far as things that might, it's really hard to tell. I'm going to be honest. I really feel like a lot of times they just know something is different. Like I didn't act in the way a typical guy would. But I can't really pinpoint exactly what it was, just something being wrong, something out of place.
Did the picking on involve like hitting you or just verbally abusing you?
Oh, there was a lot of hitting.
The other guys would like punch you or slap you?
Oh yeah, no, I had to learn to fight and fight back because that's what it was. They would come out swinging.
What would lead someone to swing at you?
That's the thing I don't really have an answer for.
Okay. You just get hit on. Walking down the hallway, they would hit you.
They would try, yeah.
Wow. And do they say any slurs at you? Any derogatory words or no?
No, because I tended to kind of hide who I was a lot of times.
How did you start fighting back?
Physically. But I wasn't really happy with that, I'm going to be honest.
Were you just swinging back, or did you do something more than that?
No, it was swinging back. Yeah, at that point it was be the kind of person that they're afraid to try to beat up. Didn't always work. It was not a good way to live, and I was not happy like that.
How do you do that?
Do what?
How do you be someone that people don't want to hit?
You hit back harder. And unfortunately, by the time that I really realized why things felt different, I was kind of past all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting my GED and getting out of high school. So
what were your parents saying about the getting picked on so much?
Well, I don't really know how to put it. My dad is supportive, but kind of apathetic. He's not a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is still supportive, so I appreciate him. And honestly, his apathy is kind of what has taken me to be able to get over things quickly, which is very nice.
Uh-huh.
And my mother has always been very supportive, thankfully. So at that point, she didn't really know what was going on because I didn't talk about it. I kept a lot of things to myself. But anytime that she did hear things, she tried to do something about it, whether it was getting me to a different place or whether it was talking to like school officials or stuff like that.
Did you participate in like prom and school activities like that, or not much?
I avoided it. It was scary.
Because you thought you would get hit on?
Well, attacked, yeah.
Yeah, attacked. So, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And you got your GED because you didn't want to be Did you quit high school and get your GED on the side?
Pretty much, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, thankfully, I went into dual enrollment first.
What's that?
Oh, I didn't know if it was a thing around here or not, but I was able to take college classes at the same time as high school classes.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time that I decided, nope, I am done with high school, I just tested out for my GED and got out easily. And I think honestly my life took a turn for the better when I got into college anyways.
Were your siblings stepping in when you were getting picked on, or were they staying out of it?
My siblings are a lot older than me.
How many years older?
Goodness, I'm terrible with ages. 6 or 7 years.
So they didn't see much of it, is that correct?
No, and it was something that I very strongly kept to myself.
Where did you go to college?
So I went to college a couple places back when it was Brevard Community College that has now since been turned into a state college, and Florida Institute of Technology.
What did you study?
Several things so far. For my associates, I have a general and veterinary technology. I was a vet tech for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
For my bachelor's, it was biomedical engineering, and for my master's was biomedical engineering with a focus on bioinstrumentation.
Oh, okay, cool. And when you were in college, things got better. Tell me how they got better.
Well, one of the nice things about college is that people don't really interact if you don't interact with them. So it's not like high school where people try picking on you or anything like that. In college, people just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They're off doing their own thing, and it was mostly good until I had finished my master's degree.
When you were doing your bachelor's, did you start understanding more that you might not be cis?
Oh, by the time that I got to my bachelor's, I already knew that I wasn't 100%. But
When did you know?
Definitely early 20s is when I kind of like confirmed it.
How did you confirm it?
Because there was one day that I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, this isn't right.
When did you realize that transgender could be a thing?
Well, so when I realized it could be a thing was probably when I did a lot of like research looking into things online in my early 20s, like late teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was a thing, but I didn't necessarily know it was my thing. It wasn't until I had gone through, until I went through my early 20s that suddenly I realized, no, this is what is the problem. This is what has been the problem. This is what I have been going through. And at the time, I just kind of buried it deep down and said, I'll just go through school. I'll just get the degrees I want to get. And then, at least I'll do something good with my life.
Where did you research transgender first? Was it on the, sometimes when people that I met discover they're trans, they go through a journey. Well, they may be gay, they may have a relationship with the same gender, and then come to being transgender. Did you go through that?
Yes, actually, funny enough, I guess that's something that I kind of glossed over is that, yeah, I did start out just thinking that I was a gay cis male. And I got in a relationship about 17 or 18.
How did you find your first person?
Internet.
Was it an online forum or an app?
No, it was just one of the messenger apps. It was one of those things where you meet friends, then you meet friends of friends, then friends of friends, and so on and so forth. And just after a network of friends, you meet somebody that you click with. And that's kind of how it started for me.
How did that person know that you were gay?
Oh, because we talk to each other all the time. When you start talking a little bit, just small conversations, then over time you guys get closer, and yeah.
And did you meet that person?
Oh, yeah. I met him probably 4 or 5 years of chatting afterwards.
Was he local to your state in Florida?
No, he was in Mississippi.
Did you ever have a relationship with someone assigned female at birth before that?
Yes, but none of those really went anywhere. I think the longest one I had before that was 3 months.
I see. When you were 17, meeting this other person, were they also the same age or were they older?
They are about 8 months younger than me.
Oh, I see. So you said you had some relationships with people who were assigned female at birth, but never went anywhere.
No.
Was your first, if you're comfortable saying, was your first sexual encounter with someone who was assigned male at birth or female?
Male. But that wasn't honestly something that I talk about a lot because it wasn't a consensual one and I was a child.
Oh, I see. Were you, if you don't have to tell us, were you abused or was that something that you wanted to be a part of?
No, it was one of my dad's work friends. And to be honest, I told nobody about it, obviously. It was something that just felt wrong and I didn't know why at the time.
How old were you?
God, like 7 or 8.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, I didn't realize it was that age.
Yeah, no.
How did it happen?
Honestly, I don't remember. It's kind of one of those things where, God, I didn't even, so that does lead into other things as far as struggles my sexual partners have gone. And at the time, I didn't remember anything. And I barely remembered it happened, just bits and pieces. I don't remember why it happened. I don't even remember where it happened.
Do you know what? Can you tell us a little bit what happened?
I don't know. I remember being alone with him, and God, pain. Pain in a way that wasn't familiar, pain in a way that didn't feel right.
Were you raped?
Yeah. And obviously threats were handed out after, and for that reason, I told no one. I never told anyone.
How did you end up alone with this person?
He was a family friend, so he was trusted.
And he was watching you or something like that?
I don't know.
Remember.
No.
But you remember that he raped you basically from the back.
Yeah. And that honestly carries forward into, by the time that I remember that one,
Was it only once, or did he do it more than once?
it was once. I know that at least. But
Did you tell your dad or the police or anybody?
nope. In fact, my mother didn't even know until I was 33.
What did she say?
She said, "Oh no, that's horrible." And then she apologized for not being someone that, I feel bad for my mother. She apologized for feeling like she couldn't be somebody trusted or that sort of thing. She felt like she might have made things too strict on me growing up, that I didn't feel comfortable sharing it. Yeah. But that honestly led into my first sexual experience when I was a teenager. In the way of, that was the time that I remembered what had happened. Because when I was about to lose what I thought was my virginity at that point, it was with a girl who didn't take too kindly to me having a panic attack and freak out when things were getting more heated.
What happened?
I think I hit a PTSD episode, a trigger of some sort that really made me freak out, panic, struggle, could barely breathe, that sort of thing. And her response, rather than any sort of comforting, was calling me things that I don't really want to repeat on microphone. But they were things of your typical emasculating sort, and it was terrifying.
This was high school?
This would have been high school time, yeah.
Did you ever have a sexual interaction with someone who was assigned female at birth?
In my life generally, or?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that's a story that we'll get to eventually as we go through things. But yeah, so for a while, I was terrified of doing anything with cis women, funny enough. But I met a cis dude who was very kind, very sweet, and our times were fun.
And you never had this PTSD episode with the person that you met?
No, because I think that there was a different level of caring to it. It's different when you're doing it just for the act of physicality, and when somebody actually cares about you.
You went through college. You had a cis. In your teens, late teens, you had a cis male person who was your partner. You went to college, finished, got a lot of degrees. It sounds like, right?
Yeah, no, and that was up through. I was with him up until my early 30s.
Oh, the same person.
Yep. And
it was long distance.
No. After about 4 or 5 years of being long distance, he moved in with us, and it was really nice.
Oh, cool. You had a roommate at the time?
I was living with my parents.
Oh, okay.
There's no way I could have afforded school and my own place at that time, so I was living with my parents.
Were you presenting as somebody who was gay at that time?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Did anyone know, or did you know that you were transgender?
I knew I was transgender, and my partner knew I was transgender, but yeah, he was still supportive, but he was also supportive of me not being ready, so to speak.
How did your parents respond to them believing you were gay?
In the best way I could ever hope for. They're just like, so?
Wow.
Like, a lot of people like the big celebrations of things like that. To me, the thing that matters most is that it was just normal.
You think they knew?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Parents just know. So, yeah.
Yeah. When did you move out of Florida?
I moved out of Florida in 2022. Yeah. So,
What kind of job did you have there?
so I was going through school. I got my bachelor's, I got my master's at the same school. Things went really sour on the work to my PhD. All I had left was my PhD. It would have been great. But then my lab partner at the time tried to use the fact that I was transgender to paint me as a deviant to get rid of me because of how jealous she was about the attention I got from our advisor.
What kind of attention?
You're doing a great job. You're doing good work. That sort of thing.
This was in biomedical engineering?
Yep.
That's a tough major.
Yeah, no, and I enjoyed it. I was actually doing really well. All I really had left was my dissertation, and I was really enjoying what I was doing. But then I decided.
So you had come out as trans around that time?
It was after. So around the time that I was working on my dissertation work, yeah. That was when I came out as trans because I figured it'd be a good time to. And that was a terrible mistake.
How did you come out as trans?
Well, so it was like several days of sleeping. I'd been trans for a while and my partner knew for a while. Then there was a period of like 4 days that I just laid in bed and did nothing out of sheer unbridled depression. Mm-hmm. And that was the time that I realized, no, I have to do something about this. I have to do something about this. So a friend took me to a hormone doctor down in Florida. And I, through all the fear and tears and anxiety and all that, I was finally able to ask the doctor, tell her that I wanted to start hormones. I wanted to start transitioning. And I did.
What was your fear?
Well, there's always the fears of, oh, you're gonna be an ugly woman. Oh, nobody's gonna accept you. Oh, you're always gonna look like a man in a dress. Oh, this, oh, that, and there's that whole thing about survivorship bias.
What's survivorship bias?
Well, when there's a lot of people out there that are trans, but you'd never know they're trans. So it's kind of a case of, why am I worrying about edge cases? Why aren't I focusing on the thing that I don't see? Mm-hmm. And that was the fear, was that I just wasn't going to fit in, or that things were going to be wrong. Things were never going to feel right, all of that. But thankfully I didn't encounter any of that. Even early on in transitioning, just being on hormones made me feel better. It was a world of difference.
Did you have to go to therapy or anything before hormones?
I think I had been going to therapy for a couple years already, and it was a known thing that I was trans, I guess, with my therapist, yeah.
What were you going to therapy for?
Depression, anxiety, all of that sort of stuff.
And then you went to someone, you got your hormones. How did it feel when you gave yourself estrogen for the first time?
God, it was a world of difference. It was like everything opening up to me. In the beginning, it was hard. Things felt great for a while. Then you need to start learning to be a woman, because being a woman is just as much a performance as it is the hormones involved. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's things are better. Things got better. Things were really rough for a while just because I suddenly saw a lot of the things that I had feared and how people would treat me.
Mm.
But it's definitely something I don't regret, even with those times that were struggling so much back then.
You said when you took estrogen, things opened up for you. What opened up?
I don't really know how to describe it. It's like, as a guy, you hold a lot back. You keep a lot to yourself. You don't feel things quite as strongly. Testosterone has very much a kind of, I guess, numbing feeling is how it felt. Um, so, you don't cry at movies. You don't read a sad story and start bawling. But after being on hormones, it was like, oh my gosh, I can actually cry now.
Mm.
And that might sound crazy and like it's a bad thing, but it's an almost liberating feeling.
Hmm. Um, After hormones, did you start changing how you dressed?
I did, yeah.
What was the first change you did to your physical appearance?
I started actually doing my hair a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like, even just that small thing was something that was nice. I started actually taking care of things like shaving in my body and stuff like that. Just small things that didn't, change everything, but at least made my days start to feel better. Because not all the changes come in one big fell swoop. A lot of times it's just doing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more over time. And one day you look back and realize, oh my gosh, I have made a lot of progress.
Mm-hmm. When did you decide to move out of Florida to Washington?
That was probably early 2022. Yeah, that was when I made the decision to. And
Did you quit your dissertation at that point, or?
yeah, so what happened pretty much was my lab partner lied and tried to say that I was sexually harassing her and that um, she tried to use the fact that I was trans to paint me as a deviant, which was very easy in Florida, especially at a school like that.
Were you in a rural part of Florida, or was it a big city?
It was Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, okay.
But so it was like it was mid-sized city.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was so bad that even the Title IX department, goodness, the head of the Title IX department, the one responsible for sexual and gender discrimination, asks me on my first meeting with her, sitting down, so when did you have your surgery?
Wow.
Yeah. So thank 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 all of the heavens that I had an email from our advisor that made her whole story fall apart, and eventually she admitted that she lied. And but by that,
Really? She admitted to it.
yep. But she was allowed to stay to finish out her master's, and I was going to be shifted to another advisor. But by that point, I was so much of a pariah on campus, I couldn't use any of the bathrooms because I didn't really fit the mold of male. But so I couldn't just walk into the men's restroom looking like a girl, and they wouldn't let me use the women's restroom for sure.
The school said that?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
This was 2022.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. So yeah, but being shifted to nerd advisor, I would have had to pretty much start my dissertation over, and you do years and years and years and years of work on trying to make people's lives better, but one thing happens and suddenly you can't do it anymore. And at that point, I'm like, no, I can't do this again. I'm not doing this again. Not after I'm already a pariah on campus.
Wow. And what made you decide to come to Washington?
So I had a friend who is like my best friend now. Absolutely my best friend. He was moving out of Florida to Washington, and I'm like, that does sound like it might be a good idea, because by this time I'd already started transitioning. So I'm like, maybe it's nice to go to a place where it's safer. So yeah, it was near a spur moment decision, just a few months.
How did you find a job over here?
So thank God I had some online friends, some very close ones that lived up in Marysville, and they took so good care of me. I am so thankful for them. So I was able to stay at their house, and while I did like DoorDash and stuff like that to, just keep afloat as far as money goes while searching for a job. Then I got put together with a consulting company who found me a job around Bothell as an oncology scientist. So that's what I do and what I've been doing since late 2022.
How do you like your work?
I adore my work. I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's so cool. And what do you do as an oncology scientist?
I help. I'm part of the whole process of developing chemotherapeutics. So,
well, what's your part of that?
My part of that is a lot of the stuff I do is like assay development. So I develop the tests they use to test the potential products.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you get to get your own patents and stuff like that, or is it all owned by the company?
It's all owned by the company, which is fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's honestly just really, really nice to be part of that whole thing.
What do you like the most about it?
The thing that I probably like the most about it is that, well, about the job, or just like about the whole thing in general?
The job.
I work with really great people, and never once have I ever had the problem of me being trans being an issue to anyone. Like, I went in there as a woman, and I have stayed in there as a woman, and some of them know I'm trans, and some of them know I don't, but even those that do are like, oh, okay, cool.
How has Washington been different than Florida?
God, it's night and day. It is beyond night and day. It is so gorgeous up here. It's so gorgeous as far as both nature and the people. Obviously every so often you run into somebody that's not great, but compare this to the general experience I've had in Florida, and it's crazy, honestly. It's something I don't really quite have words for, to be in a place that actually supports you and acknowledges your existence as something valid.
Have your parents or siblings come to visit you?
My mother's come to visit me. Yeah, she came last year, and it was nice. It was fun.
Did she like it?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
What kind of things did you do with her?
So some of the things that I like doing most are things that involve going out into nature somehow, some way, some shape, some form. Being back from Florida, it's a swamp. It's warm. It's hot. It's humid. If it's less than 80 degrees, it's a nice cool day. So I love doing things like going up into the mountains and seeing the snow. Snoqualmie or Stevens Pass are a couple of my favorites. One of the things I really like doing is going out and seeing the stars. I am a big fan of the stars.
Yeah.
So much so that I have my bodies tattooed with them.
That's cool.
So.
Do you like the whole space stuff, or you just like astrology?
I like astronomy, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
That's cool. What do you like about it?
It's just really gorgeous to go outside and look up at the stars. I had never seen the Milky Way until I came up here. There's too much light pollution in Florida because it's too flat, but coming up here, I can actually see the beauty in the sky.
Other than changing the way you dress and your hair, did you change anything else that made you present more female?
So, I mean, obviously things like makeup too, but I guess that kind of counts in dress and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm happier. Like, I don't know if that really counts as an answer to the question, but just generally I'm happier. I show more of myself. I show more of the kind of person I am. As a guy, I was very just to myself, do what I need to do, leave, go. But now I'm more social, I'm more talkative, I have more friends, it's easier to make friends. And that all, I don't know if that's something directly trans related, but it is something that has come out of finally transitioning, is that I'm actually able to be myself.
Are you still feeling that, I don't want to use the word euphoria, but freeing nature of hormones today that you felt when you first started?
Maybe not to the same degree, because that's like comparing, 0 to 1. But I do still feel better.
Have you stayed on hormones the past few years?
Yep, I started in January of 2021, and I've been on them since.
And, your current partner in Washington, did they come with you from Florida, or did you meet them here?
That was actually the best friend that ended up moving up here.
Oh, I see. And your friend moved here from Florida?
Yep.
You all moved together?
We didn't move together, but we did. It was kind of an, okay, see you up there. Yeah, see you up there. And then we just met up again when we finally got up here. We made our own plans and did it ourselves, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool. When did you start thinking about surgery?
So surgery is something that I've had on my mind for a long, long, long time. I used to have very, very, very bad dysphoria. Terrible dysphoria. And back when I was in Florida...
Can you tell our listeners what dysphoria is?
The feeling that something in your body feels wrong, that something feels wrong, that it's something that needs to be fixed and is just not right.
Is that daily? Every hour? Every minute?
It's something that can be or can't be. It's something that can come in waves. For some people, it's a constant, everlasting thing. Some people, it's something that will only come at times or when it's perked by a specific action or thing happening that triggers it. And everybody's dysphoria is different. Some people have dysphoria, some people don't. Some people have dysphoria regarding their lap crotch area, but not everybody does. Some people have dysphoria about their face, others don't. But that also just kind of lines up with the fact that gender is not a binary. It's not a man or woman, male, female. It's a spectrum of different things, and everybody fits on it differently in their own way.
Where do you fit on that spectrum?
I fit very firmly on the female side. I at least know that for myself. Not everybody does, and that's perfectly fine. I have friends that fit closer to like the midpoint or maybe a little bit into the masculine side, but I at least know for myself 100%. I know I fit in the women's side of it.
What part of your body gave you the most dysphoria?
So, I do think that like the bottom genital area is still probably what is the biggest causer of dysphoria. But at the time, back then, it was kind of an all over body thing. I wouldn't say any one space gave it the most dysphoria. But back in Florida, I thought, maybe I'd get lucky to get bottom surgery, maybe. But suddenly when I came up here to Washington, it's like, oh my gosh, people actually care about trans people. And I found a surgeon that was doing it, and I liked his work. I found Allure Aesthetic, and I came here, and I was really nervous, really scared at the beginning. But, you've been really good throughout the whole thing.
Thank you.
I was terrified, especially the first couple consultations. But I have zero regrets about coming to you for the things that I did.
Thank you. How did you find me?
Google.
Yeah.
I was just looking around, and that's kind of how I found it, is that I just started looking through pages of people who did transgender surgeries in like the Seattle area, because that's the area I was coming to. And yeah, I figured of all of the different places I looked, yours just appealed to me the most for some reason.
Can you remember why?
I think probably the big thing that made me go, was the fact that you had transgender stuff so prominent on the website. Because I've seen a lot of other plastic surgeons, or people like that they do have like transgender stuff in there, but it's kind of buried in. Maybe you need to search for it. Yeah, they do it, but it made it feel like less of a priority. Whereas yours was prominent there in your face right when you get there. And that said to me that, it's not just an afterthought for you.
Absolutely. Makes sense. How was the consultation?
Consultation was nice. I met you. You're really cool.
Thank you. Now, having surgery done on your face is not an easy decision. Waking up looking like somebody different. How did you make that jump to decide that I want to change my face and the way the whole world sees me?
Because that's just one of the other things I had dysphoria about, was like, say, my masculine features. And with heavy makeup, I could hide them okay enough, but it wasn't something that still really felt like me. And, previously in life, I thought I'm only ever going to be able to get bottom surgery and that's it. But now that I suddenly had this chance, I was like, oh my gosh, I can finally have the rest of the world see me as I see me.
We met, we talked about facial feminization. As you know, I'm one of the few people, I think the only person in the world who does everything in a single stage, breast, face, one operation. Did you want to have multiple surgeries, or is one and done was more important to you?
Well, if you just compare those two, yeah, one and done. But it wasn't the one and done that really attracted me to the type of stuff you did. It was the really, really good work you did.
Thank you.
So it was the quality that attracted me to your thing. But it was really, really, really nice to be able to get it done in one go. Sir, the recovery was rough, yes.
What was the roughest part of the recovery?
For the first few days to week, you pretty much feel like you can do nothing on your own.
What hurt the most?
What hurt the most? That's hard to tell because, you're on painkillers at the time.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that probably I remember the most is the hairline reduction or whatever it was called.
Yes.
That one was rough just because, there was a lot of scar tissue, scabs, and there was the sutures and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's so funny to compare how it was back then to now, because now you can't really even tell that there was anything done on it.
So for your face, we lowered the hairline. We took the forehead and we set it back. We cut the bones off, put titanium plates and screws. We opened the eyes, cut the eye bone, lifted the eyebrows, did a rhinoplasty, lip lift, chin, jaw reduction, tracheal shave. Out of all of that, what do you feel made the biggest impact on your face?
The nose and the upper lip.
Really?
Yep.
Is that what you like the most?
I think so, yeah. I like the nose.
Yeah.
It's a cute nose.
Well, you're a beautiful person. I think we were able to make that nice for you. What do you feel about the breast augmentation?
I'm very, very happy with it. At this point, the only thing I do is I make jokes. Man, I should have gone bigger. But I'm very happy with what I have. Very happy.
And then we did the face surgery, and after we decided to do the body work, it was almost about 8 months after, 8 to 9 months.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, and for the body work, we did a liposuction 360, the front, the back, the sides, and we transferred fat to your hip and buttocks.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
So, at surgery, so that one of the problems is that now the frame of reference I have is the FFS and top surgery, and this was not nearly as bad as that. It sucked for a couple days. It sucked having to lay on my back, on the no, sorry, the other way around. It sucked having to lay on my stomach. But eventually I found a comfortable way to rest. But overall, that one was not nearly as bad as the FFS and top surgery.
Do you feel the body results were as noticeable to people as the face?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What was the most noticeable? What is the most noticeable from that?
To other people or to me?
Both.
To other people, definitely the butt. 100% is the butt.
What do people say?
Compliments. Yeah, it's they like it, especially people who've seen me before and after.
Do you wear fitted clothing when you go out, or if you go a party or anything like that?
Not usually, honestly.
So people notice the butt in your general clothing.
Yeah. General clothing I use a lot of times tends to be more baggy, just because that's what I'm comfortable with and what makes me happy. But even in that, people notice.
What do they say?
Nice butt. I mean, just general compliments on it, really. I mean, on my body in general, as far as my hips and everything goes. It's hard to really remember what individual compliments there might be.
Sure. About what do you like the most?
The waist, very much the waist. One of the things that I was pretty dysphoric about was like the silhouette. I wanted a more feminine silhouette, and I definitely think that this has helped with that significantly.
Did your clothes change? Your clothes size change at all?
Yep, I went down a size at least. I used to wear like mediums. Now I wear smalls.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I have this nice cloak, and one of the things that I was telling to them outside was that it used to struggle to get cinched around the waist, but now it's super easy.
Is your dysphoria better now?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
What's better about your dysphoria?
I mean, now when I walk out, I at least feel like people see me closer to the person that I am, that I want to be. I do still have dysphoria from like bottom surgery perspective, but I'm working on that. But as far as everything else goes, it is worlds better than what it was before.
Are you happy with the surgeries I did for you?
Absolutely. 100% absolutely.
What did you like the most about coming to me and allowing me to give you care?
So I would probably say it'd have to either be that you've been really sweet, you've been really kind, really nice about it all. You made the experience more comfortable, and also you just did a good job, straight up. Like that's really, I think, what is the most important to me, is that the quality of the care and the services provided, and you did them damn well. And the fact that you have been so supportive and gentle and kind about it all as we've gone on has just been a really big plus.
Thank you for that. You've been on an amazing journey. That's been long. That's not linear. If you could tell somebody else who was going through what you did 5-6 years ago, what piece of advice would you give them?
Take it a step at a time, because things aren't going to happen all at once. Like I had mentioned when I first started, just doing little things here and there over time that brought me even the tiniest bit closer to my identity. Because a year or two down the line, you're going to look back and go, oh, I've made a lot of progress, even if it's small steps.
Thanks for listening to the Plastic Surgeon Podcast, and please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so we can bring you more amazing content. For my live surgeries and our content throughout the week, please check me out on Instagram or TikTok at Real Dr. Seattle. Bam, what?